to have it horizontal. Guess this will work. I think you can probably hear me now. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, can you put a thumbs up in the chat? It would be nice to have the microphone turned on, huh? Wouldn't it? Can anyone hear me? Let's see. Testing. Can anyone hear me? Okay. I can hear myself. Ooh, what? We are not talking about that today. I don't know who that is. The topic for today is transitioning and adapting. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So I'm about to start with an introduction for anybody that may not know me. My name is Jenae Calloway. I am a retired Chief Intelligence Specialist from the United States Navy, retired last year after 20 years. I am a mother of one, have an 18-year-old in college, and she's my pride and joy. The best accomplishment ever. I think that's one of y'all questions that y'all asked me. Okay, bye. Um, I started this live because a lot of people, at least in my network, are always asking, what is it that, makes you go? What is your motivation? What's your drive? How was transitioning out of the military? What was the military like? Where do you get your confidence from? There's a whole bunch of questions. If you look at the short that I did the other day in the comments, you'll see some of the questions that I got. So today I kind of summed up those questions and created this topic of transitioning and adapting, specifically coming up out of the military. So we're going to get started in a minute. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you have any questions for me, go ahead and put in the chat. And if it is within the realm of what I want to talk about today, then I'll answer it. We ain't talking about nothing else today. There'll be other sessions for that. Sheesh. Came out hitting hard. CJ, whoever you are. All right. So one of the first questions that I got the other day was, what accomplishment am I most proud of? Or what are my top 3 accomplishments? Um, Obviously, one of them is going to be to completing all of that time in the service, because let me tell you, there were like so many times where I wanted to just quit, give up, and oh my gosh, a lot of tears, a lot of deployments, a lot of missing my family, a lot of missing out on some of the things that, typical people are usually at home for. But yeah, so the accomplishment of, you know, adapting and being flexible and being resilient through all of that, and continuing to learn through it all. That's going to be one of my top accomplishments. Secondly, so I did mention that I have a daughter that is 18 years old. She's currently a sophomore at school up in New York, and she is probably my biggest accomplishment. Like anything she does, that's me, right? Because I raised her, so she's way better than anything that I could have ever been when I was her age. so So that's gonna be my top two. I'll leave it there for my accomplishments. And I think it was a couple people that asked me that. Um, if there is there something that I would do differently? Um, and then someone I think asked about in the military if there was something I would do differently. I'll do both personal and professional wise to cover both of those questions. So, differently. What would I do differently? Hmm. I think it's professionally, I earlier on I would have been more outward, outspoken, and networked more because it's definitely something that I had to learn to do later on in life. And I wish that I had the the confidence, I guess, to do it earlier on. And then personally, um, let's see, what would I have done differently? What would I have done differently personally? Ooh, I would not have let anybody, um, make me feel less than because personally, oh my gosh, I ran across, I think, quite a few people that didn't deserve my time. So yeah, that's what I would have done differently. And I think that was submitted by Rod Morris. Let's see. Where do you get your confidence from? Let's talk about confidence for a second. Like I said before, I didn't always have the confidence that I have today. In fact, I feel like everybody kind of develops their own sense of confidence throughout time. I mean, if you're not evolving as you grow, then it's probably something wrong. Everybody should be growing and learning every day. So, my confidence, I'll tell you this, early on, I did not have a lot of confidence. I thought I did because I never thought that anything was wrong with me. But because of, um, I don't know, you know how kids are when you're little. I was never the popular person. Let me just tell you that. I didn't get bullied or anything, but I just I wasn't very vocal. I wasn't open. I wasn't that person to just be all high and confident. But that definitely changed over time as I, just spoke to different people, had people enlighten me on different things. Um, you know, when I started to understand like how intelligent I really was, uh, growing up in certain situations, you can really get beat down and made to think that, you're not capable or you're not, smart enough to accomplish different things and or you shouldn't have these type of goals. And so later on, I think just talking with different people, having mentors and just good people around me help to gain confidence. And then it's just something that I've always wanted as well for myself. So it's something that I worked on. It didn't just come overnight. Um, I was told that, hey, you are better than, and then I had to believe it. And then I had to say, okay, I need to show it. And so I think the confidence that you see is me making the conscious effort to be outward with my confidence and you know and doing that so that other people can look and say, hey, I can be that way too. And that's why I'm here today, as a matter of fact, because like having this live with you right now, because I want to be that person to show somebody that, hey, you can come up from being that person that everybody ignored or didn't think that would become much, and prove them wrong. So that's where my confidence comes from. Um, So somebody asked, what is, do I miss the military? My answer to that will be no. I'm going to say a hard no. I don't miss the military. I am very comfortable and happy with my decision to serve in the military, and especially for as long as I did. But I do not have any reason to wish that I was still in the military. The military, while we're on this topic, has done amazing things for me, my family, my daughter, and it just keeps on coming, the benefit. Um, it's one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life, but I am very happy that that chapter in my life is now closed. Yes. So, the second part to that question was, is there anything that I would have done differently while in the military? Um, let's see, did I? I think that I definitely would have surpassed anything that I accomplished already if I were to find a mentor early on. So that goes back to the networking piece that I was talking about when I said I wish I would have been more vocal, more open, and open to networking and things like that. I wish I would have found a mentor, um, somebody to, show me the ropes and, just guide me a little bit better because I've just always been a person that kind of just went with the flow. I did my work. I've never been in trouble or anything like that. But having someone in your corner, on your side to, tell you should be doing this, you should be doing that so that you can progress is, oh my gosh, it, it's the difference between, moving at a moderate pace and skyrocketing through your goals. So that's what I would do differently. And so I would tell my younger self, because this is a three-part question. They said, what would you tell your younger self? I would tell my younger self, hey, go talk to this person, that person, make yourself known, grab those people as your mentors, and go from there. Let's see. Biggest challenge since retiring. So outside of securing a new role, because that was, I'm not gonna say that was really hard, but it was a little nerve wracking because I didn't know what was gonna come, and sorry, I just got sidetracked. I didn't know what was to come, so it was a little bit nerve wracking. Um, but the biggest challenge I would say would be trying to figure out where to place my efforts next, where to place my talents next. When you're in the military, you are multifaceted. You are good at so many things, so many things. Um, we're good at project management. We're good at leading people. We're good at, whatever your job is. For me, it was intelligence. You're good at, writing evaluations. You're good at training. You're good at literally everything. If there's a problem, you fix it because that's kind of just like what we are trained to do. So coming out of the military, it's like, all right, which parts of that expertise am I going to hone in on? Because what I learned is that when you get out here in the civilian world, it is, you don't have to do everything like that anymore. You don't have to do the training and do your regular workload and go PT and go, I don't know, complete this program and make sure that program is good to go. Like you more than likely have one role. So right now I'm a general strategist, and that's what I do. I strategize, and that's it. I don't have to do anything else. So that was a very big change for me, and so the challenge for me was just trying to figure out where to place my talents. What should I focus on the most? Um, what lessons in leadership did I learn? I think I learned not necessarily from actually, I learned two things. One, from my leadership, um, that, and it wasn't necessarily a positive thing as I was learning it, but it's positive for me now because I'm like, I would never be like that, in my personal leadership. And that is, I learned that you got to check your bias at the door. Check your bias at the door. Like when you are in an organization and you're in a leadership role, there's going to be people that come in that don't look like you, don't have the same values, beliefs, or, they just may not, they just don't come from where you come from. So just making sure that everyone is treated equally is is something that I value and that I think every leader should have. And the other thing I learned is to ensure that you know your people enough so that you can lead them individually in different ways. I think that's pretty self explanatory because not everybody is the same. So, yeah, just yeah, ensure that everybody has their personalized attention to meet their guidance uh, needs. I have some questions in the chat. Let's see. How has the military how has the military helped to groom you? Um, I think I somewhat answered that when I said that you know, when you're in the service, there is a lot of different things that you have to know and do. And so when you are in, you learn to multitask. You learn to get everything done. And it's kind of like a gift and a curse, you know? It's a gift and a curse because on the outside, everybody kind of looks to you to get everything done because you're always good at most things. I'll say most things. And so while people are typically set on that one thing that they're good at, that's what they gravitate towards. Everybody else is looking at you like, well, you know how to do this, and that. So can you do this, and that? And you feel like if you don't do it, it won't get done. But yeah, it's groomed me to just be a multitasker, to have time management, and just to ensure that things get done. I guess there's never a reason why something can't happen. Groomed me to be solution oriented. Like there's always a solution. So that's part of the reason I think that I have, I like to say progress instead of success. That's why I have the progress that I have because I don't necessarily take no for an answer unless it's just absolutely proven to me that it cannot be done. But if it doesn't make sense to me as to why it can't get done, then it probably can be done. That's my logic. Um, but yeah, they that's that's my thing. I'm the go-to person. Um, let's see. Someone asked me about whether there were any surprises within my friendships after service. And I will say, yes, there were a there. I'll say this: I didn't think early on in my naval career that I would continue to have the friends that I met early on. However, the friends that I've encountered throughout my service are all still very good friends. So I guess you can say that was somewhat of a surprise. Um, those are like my best friends. Some of my best friends were um, that I can call and count on, and even friends before the military. Um, while I wasn't there a lot of the time, over these past 21 years, um, they're still there for the most part. So yeah, the surprise is, hey, I still got them. Still got friendships. Still rocking and rolling, even though we don't see each other. Um, it's all about you, the person you are. I think when it comes to friendships, I don't really have any any enemies I have. They got something. There's something wrong with them. There's something wrong with them. It's their own, you know. Uh, it's something wrong with their soul. If you have a problem with me, because I don't have enemies. Yeah. So Um, let's see. I got some more questions. Y'all, y'all just gonna blow me up, huh? Let's see. What advice would you give people looking to join the military? All right. So, advice. If you're looking to join the military, the first thing I would say would be to um, figure out exactly why you want to join the military, because you have to you have to have a goal when joining. Otherwise, you'll look at the military as if it's something that you don't need. But if you look at it as something that's going to either drive you or get you to somewhere that you want to be, then I think you will appreciate it. So that's number one. Number two, I would figure out what it is you want to do in the military. So if you want to be in intelligence, if you want to be a cook, if you want to, um, do information systems or whatever the job is that you want to do, I would research it and I would ensure that I study enough to obtain the score that is necessary to qualify for that particular job. That's not to say that you would be guaranteed that job, because there's other factors that come into play, but such as like quota and things like that. But if that's something that you want to do, you can't strike yourself out by not having the proper score. So that's number two. Um, and the third thing I would do is ensure that you do the necessary things to make rank, I think, at a quicker pace. So I think there's little incentives, like while you're in I don't know if they still call it depth, but while you're in the program before you go into the service, there's things that you can do in order to achieve rank faster. So your recruiter will be able to tell you a lot more about that than I can. But yeah, those are the things that I would tell people that are looking to join the military. Um, I've I've helped a few people, and that's what I think they should be doing. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up with these last two questions. What are you working on professionally now that you have retired? Great question. So as I said before, I am a general strategist for a small DoD contracting company. Um, I'm writing strategy, revising strategy, a lot of reading, a lot of writing. But it's a pretty decent job. I like it, and I think that um, it's it's challenged me in a way that really I've never been challenged before. It's very satisfying, I'll say that, and I'm learning a lot every day. It's something new to me coming from intelligence, but I like it. Outside of my regular role, my 9 to 5, I I'm occupying my time in different organizations uh, with a few leadership roles in those organizations. Um, and what else? I'm thinking about going back to school, but I don't like to speak on things until they're actually getting done. So something I'm thinking about. Um, and I actually, I might write a book or something. Who knows? And in your transition, I said this is my last question. Let's see. In your transition, how has it affected your personal life? I think that um, hmm, my transition and my personal life. Let's see. How has my transition affected my personal life? I don't know. I don't think I think that coming out of the military, I definitely see things differently now. I'll say that. A lot of the values that I had before don't necessarily coincide with like a lot of the values that some of my friends and or family may have. All for the better, though. It's nothing bad, but I just see things a little bit differently. And yeah, I think that's about it. You know, like when it comes to politics and things of that nature. I don't know if that necessarily has to do with transitioning, but that is something that I have seen be a difference since coming out. And this is going to be my last question for real. What did you have to sacrifice to live the military lifestyle, and would you do it all over again? Whew. What did I have to do to sacrifice? What did I sacrifice to live the lifestyle? I sacrificed. relationships. I sacrifice being home with my family, seeing my grandparents. I sacrifice seeing them in their last days. Some of my friends in their last days. Um, I sacrificed several years of not being with my daughter. While I was on deployments, having to uproot her life over and over and over again, which is why she's that resilient person that she is. Um, and probably my mental health. Yeah, I'll make that another topic for another day, mental health. But yeah, I sacrificed pretty much all of that. And would I do it all over again? Would I do it all over again? In the place that I am right now, yes. Yes, I would. I'm happy. I'm happy. It worked out. Um, it's benefited me more than I could have ever imagined. So, yep, I would do it all over again. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would probably be like, no, but then there's also a lot of people that wish that they had. So, I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted. So, yeah, thank you all for your questions. I have so many more questions that I need to get around to. But what I did was kind of compiled or tried to compile some of the questions into like different categories so that I'm not all over the place in one live. So that's what this one is. This one is transitioning and adapting. I might get into, I saw there were some questions about my love life, and there's questions about traveling and all types of stuff in there. And I think I might get to it. I might let y'all in a little bit. All right. So until next time, I think I'm gonna do this like every week. So today is Tuesday. I'm gonna check my calendar. I'm gonna try to keep it for Tuesday. If not, also I might move to TikTok. We'll see. But thanks for joining me. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for your participation. Thanks for talking about it with me. Until next time, peace.